Hello, good evening, and here we are again with another episode of the Show Thoughts Podcast. I'm the Big Show. That's Samantha, and I changed up where I'm doing this from now on because I can get a little closer. People can see me now. I don't have to worry about my life being behind me. And people going, "Hey, what's that? Hey, what's this?" It's my fucking house. This is where I live. All right, plain
Yeah.
and simple. Um, I have a couple things that have happened and transpired with me over the weekend, but I'm going to touch base with what happened to me today first. So, okay. So, uh we're kind of the same when we can't really talk about like our jobs.
hmm
Like, 'cause I
Yeah.
can't bring up what client it is, who it is, etc. But sometimes I do public places.
hmm
And I'm carrying two bins through, and I have to get past these two people, and they're like arguing in the store. And the woman, obviously, she's a white woman,
hmm
and it looks like her husband. There's rings on her fingers and his fingers, and he's of Oriental descent. So
Okay.
they're arguing in this aisle, and I have to get past them to get back to the back. And she's yelling at him, and he starts getting amped. So he's getting ramped up, so he starts speaking Mandarin.
hmm
So as he's doing that, she turns to him, I fucking shit you not, and was like, let me tell you something right fucking now. You're not gonna fucking fight with me, so I have to use subtitles to figure out what the fuck you just said. I fucking was weak. And like I'm trying so hard to be professional, and but I'm biting my lip. And next thing you
hmm
know, like I'm losing control of the bins, so they slam on the ground. And I'm literally, Sam, probably like a stone's throw away from them as I heard it. And like the lady looks over it, I was like, hey, y'all do you. Y'all do
hmm
you. And I fucking just was blood red. And I'm just like, oh my God. And I'm holding it in until I got into my truck. And I just burst into laughter. I was like, that is the most hardcore yet racist shit I've ever
hmm
heard in my life. I was like, this woman straight up said, like, I'm not
95%.
fighting with you in subtitles. I was like, oh my God. I will say, I commend the husband
hmm
because, like, he started talking back to her in English, but like she kind of just was like she shut that shit the fuck down. But
Yes.
my part was you would want to kind of learn your significant other's culture
Yeah.
and a little bit, but
hmm
just the way she snapped on him real quick, like just brought him down the peg real quick. I was fucking dying because I just was like I was not expecting that at all.
No.
And when she says that subtitle line, I was like, wow. Like, wow.
I'm I'm laughing at that because like just hearing them like argue, right? The way you're talking about it, like so I hate arguments. I really do. Like I hate fighting. It is like I don't know, it does trigger something in me, everything else. And so I got a new partner for family based, and it turns out that it's a man. Okay. So, my field, there aren't a whole lot of men in this career field to begin with.
Okay.
So, this is the second time I've gotten, a man as a partner. Now, the thing is, he and I are very similar when it comes to our personalities. We're both, type A personalities. We have to be organized. We have like, so I've been in my field, well, at this agency now for almost 6 years and in this position. So I know what I'm doing. He has a tendency to come in and literally overstep my boundaries and literally just like take over and try to take over. And I hate that shit. Don't try to, if I know what I'm doing with my clients, don't try to undermine me. Like I will So like I've been holding back for the longest time, and then finally today, like I fucking lost it. I'm not even joking you. I fucking lost it. It was in session 2. I looked at him and I was like, just a second. Can you please go back and rewind and think about the last session that you attended with me and what we talked about? Because we already discussed this, and I'm tired of having to sit here and explain, have my client reopen their wounds to you because you won't pay attention.
Right.
And he just like, he looks at, he just looked at me and he like shuts down or whatever. And then we walk outside, and I waited until we were at the very end of the driveway so my clients couldn't see or hear us. And I was like, hey, listen, I'm sorry if I, for snapping on you. It's just, there's been a lot going on. And honestly, like I'm seeing a lot in you that indicates to me that you may not understand this model as well. And it is getting frustrating. And then he looks at me and he goes, no, it's just because you're a cold-hearted bitch. And that's the way it is. You like to have control like all the other bitches out there. And I was like, excuse me? And like my
It
mind
turned up
immediately
really
went,
quick from the client's house.
right? And like I literally just sat there and I was like, oh my God, am I arguing with my partner or a boyfriend? What the fuck is this?
Yeah, right.
So then I go, excuse me? And he was just like, well, I guess the rumors are true. And this is where I laughed because it brought me back to what, your post on your Facebook where you're like, the rumors about yourself. And I was like, what rumor is that? He's like, you're a man eater. I'm like, excuse me? He's like, you hate all men. And I'm like, that's the rumor? You've known me for 3 weeks, dude, and that's the rumor you're believing?
I'd be like, first of all, who the fuck told you that rumor in 3 weeks? Like, who you know? You be stalking my Facebook, you fucking weirdo. What's wrong with you?
Just to throw it out there, I do not hate all men, okay? I hate some. No.
I mean, that's fair. I hate some men. Like, that's fair. But like, to just, I mean, like, it's kind of like back to mine too. But like, just to, in her situation, she snapped on him to bring him down so like she could understand what the fuck he was saying.
Yeah.
But in your case, like, you're like, it's kind of like that boiling point. You're like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
hey, enough. Hey, all right, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
we all get to that. But then, like, I love how he gets outside and he's like, but the thing is, I could have told you something was happening when he shut down.
Yeah.
But then he gets outside the house and all of a sudden he's like, you, blah, blah, blah. Shut up. Shut
Yeah.
up. And then I just looked at it like, maybe I am a cold-hearted bitch. Maybe just I am.
Or maybe it's the fact, and this is what like I don't understand. And like I'm not gonna lie to you, like words have power. So a lot of
Absolutely.
times, like people don't realize this when they say something to you, and then like if they're just like, oh well, I mean it with a good intention. No, you don't. It still sucks. Like I can't tell you how many times I've heard people come to me and be like, and I'm not even talking about the women. I'm talking about men who barely know me, who've never given me a chance to actually show them who I am. Like they've never really given that, a chance to get to know me, right? Who are like, you're aggressive, you're cold-hearted, you're a bitch, you're a cunt, you're too independent, you're headstrong, or so I'm just sitting there like, so I'm a bitch. Why don't you just tell me that you're intimidated by a strong woman? That's all you like. Get over it, dude. Grow a
Correct.
fucking pair of balls and understand that the women nowadays, they like doing things on their own, and they're not going to cater to every man because that's what you feel that you need.
Right.
Like I know my job. This is my field is literally a woman-oriented field.
Correct.
I know what the fuck I'm doing. I got my licensure, everything else. And you're really going to question my credentials because you're still in grad school and don't know shit?
Yeah. Then more than likely. And then on top of that is they don't like, and there's like, I say another side to that coin. They don't even know who the fuck you are. Like, they
No.
don't know like what you've been through to get here
Mm-hmm.
in a sense too. Like, and not just you, but most women are like that now, especially like in our age, like between
Mm-hmm.
that, 30 and probably 50, where like you have these things that have happened to you in like past experiences, good, bad, or indifferent, like any kind of abuse, mental, physical,
Mm-hmm.
sexual, whatever. And or maybe you just don't want to fucking deal. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how does a label get put out there that, you know, you're a bitch, the C word, like all
Mm-hmm.
that. It just, I believe, and I'll say this, like as a man, I believe most of the men now should understand that women have their own thing to do too.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's fair. And especially me being in a relationship, if Brandy has something to do and I don't want to be part of it, not negatively, but if I don't want to, or if I have something else going on, whether I'm with Xander or I have a bocce match or whatever, you know, or I just kind of want to hang with my kid, like,
Yeah.
and she wants to go do that, I'm not stopping her from doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, go do it. And the same goes with her. Like, if I want to go do something, she's perfectly okay with me going to do that.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing is now as I'm older, I don't need to be attached at the hip.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, I don't like need the female to do these things.
Right.
I've learned that from past experiences growing into me being single again and all that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't understand. I really don't get why most men are still tunnel visioned, where it
Yeah.
has to be their way, the
Mm-hmm.
highway, where you going, how you coming, where you been. And then, and it, that also goes to men that have like a trust issue or something of that nature, because that they have to find themselves.
Yeah.
They have to figure their shit the fuck out. So if you went through it, like the dating pool and all that, and you know, I dare I say online dating,
Mm-hmm.
the ghosting, the manipulation, all that, the yada yada yada, they're gonna be in a way kind of not defensive like you were, but it's just they get a little rock hearted by it. Like
Mm-hmm.
they they turn black hearted in a way where it's just like, hey, fuck your feelings. Like
Mm-hmm.
you put up or shut up. So, but then I also feel like they need to address that before something else. A lot of men
Yeah.
don't do that.
No. And that's where I was just like sitting there, like for the past few days, just like literally thinking about all of this. And then like today it just set me over the edge where I was just like, so I'm a bitch because I tried to correct you in session because I've had enough. Like I've tried to correct you outside of session more than enough times. And I don't and I know that comes out sounding harsh, like correcting wise, and but it's not, I'm not trying to like critique him or criticize him and what he's doing. I'm trying
Mhm.
to help teach him how to, you know, properly provide treatment in a healthy way that isn't going to cause more harm.
It's guiding him.
Right. And when I'm sitting there watching him literally tell my client, who is a survivor of DV, okay, to challenge her abusive husband, what the fuck are you doing?
Right.
Like, don't come into my family when you don't know shit about my client and then literally destroy all my hard work in a blink of an eye and then call me a bitch.
Right. Then on top of that, you tell the wife to challenge the abusive husband.
Yeah,
It's just, that is just a recipe for disaster. The woman's already probably a shell of herself.
right.
So are you trying to potentially kill her?
Right? Are
Because
you trying to cause more harm?
right, because like the way it goes, if she's already potentially in that and involved in that, and then you ask her to challenge this person who can possibly fucking kill her.
Right?
I
And
have some questions about your, you know, your
well, this is where I have a question too, because this was the second time, and this is what triggered me to explode and get angry. Last week's session, we're working with a client of mine who's in recovery, and I'm trying to help this client understand learn and implement new healthy coping mechanisms
Yeah.
that aren't relying on his drug of choice or his substance of choice, right?
Yeah.
And so we're going over that, and all of a sudden my partner goes, well, what are some coping skills that you'd like to do? And my client's like, well, I enjoy walking the dog, going outside, playing with my kids, things of that nature. And my partner goes, well, what do you like to do before bed? How do you find your self-care? And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, he's going down a path of maybe take a hot shower, read a book, watch something funny with your wife, like something along that line, right?
Like something
And
like decompression.
yes, right? And so my client goes, well, prior to going into rehab, it used to be a glass of wine. And I kid you the fuck not, my client was like, so why did you stop? Having a glass of wine is a useful coping mechanism.
But if you're, oh my God. But if you're
And not
already,
only,
if that's your addiction,
right? Right? The man
oh,
is in recovery.
are you sure this partner of yours is supposed to be in this field?
Right?
Because, like, I'm sorry, but I would like, do your research on your clients. And if they're suffering from addiction and the drug or substance is alcohol,
Right.
let's not tell them, let's have a glass of wine, because that glass could turn into two glasses, turns into a
Yes.
bottle, turns into a bender. I
And
know that
like,
shit, and I'm not even a therapist. Like, it's common
right?
sense.
So like I had to quickly recover, and I was like, no, 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 we're not going to go down that route. No, no, no. I was like, we tried to steer away from that. And my partner goes, why? It's almost equivalent to just smoking a joint to help ease your anxiety. And that's when I was just like, dear God, what are you teaching your clients?
How does this person have a job?
Right?
How are they like a therapist if they are bad? They're a bad person.
And that's where I like had to quickly, and I was like, please ignore whatever my partner is saying, because that is not how we are approaching this situation. I was like, I have clients who are like, I have a medical card, I have a medical green card, I'm allowed. I have no qualms about that. Okay.
Yes, right.
You do your thing on your own terms. I'm not going to judge you on it. Okay.
Yeah.
But my job is to help instill more coping mechanisms so that you're not relying solely on a drug. Yes, weed is still a drug. Okay. And top that all off, if you're having a panic attack because you're overwhelmed and you're in the middle of like a store, you can't rip out a doobie and smoke it right there.
But then we have viewers and listeners be like, "Hey, Sam, they make them vape pens, though. All right, no justification on it.
Okay.
All right,
I'm still trying. I get where you guys, and I just, and you're right. There are the vapes. Okay. And again, no judgment. You do what works for you.
right,
But, coping mechanisms are like a toolbox. It's good to have numerous ones that you could pull out to handle different situations.
right. Just not the same fucking wrong ones that you're relying on or we're relying on. But it's like, hey, that's just the equivalent of a joint, bro. Who are you? Who are you?
Right?
Like, to,
Literally,
all
when
I
he
think
said
of
that,
is like, so here's your client, and on this shoulder is your partner. It's like, what you should do is you can fucking get a glass of wine or smoke a doob. It's fine. And you're over here going, shut the fuck up. Like, just ignore what that dude said. Right? Just, I don't even know why he's here. Bill, get the fuck out of here. Just go. Why are you here? Why? We're supposed to help. Why are you here? Get this shit. Get the fuck out, Bill. All right, calm down. We don't know. We didn't know that shit.
but like, I kid you the fuck not. The first week that he started working with me and he had to like shadow, right? He just immediately jumped in and he was like, I love working with teenagers. And I could relate to them. And I'm like, okay. So we were wrapping up a session with like, we were getting ready to discharge, and I had a teenager and he's trying to get to know her. Mind you, they had 2 sessions left. This is at the very end. Like, they don't know who
Yeah.
the fuck he is, right? So all of a sudden he was just like, we're talking and whatever. And I was like, oh, great. So she's she's explaining how she set a boundary with a male friend of hers because he wanted more than just friendship. And when she refused and said, I want to just stay friends, he was like, well, why can't you just send me pussy photos and we'll call it a day? And when I was processing this with her, she was like, I felt destroyed. I felt hurt. I felt betrayed. Like, I've known this guy all my life. And now all of a sudden he does this. Like, I wasn't expecting it. And I said, how did you handle it? And she went ahead and she's like, I immediately blocked him. And I told myself that I don't need this. And for a teenager, an adolescent to do that in today's society, I'm fucking proud of her. Right?
Yeah, it's very uncommon.
Yeah. And he literally was like, well, you know, the next time that happens, just call one of your friends and trauma dump everything on them.
Who gave this dude a job, bro? Like, it's like, oh my god. What I don't understand is okay, hold up, man. Am I like, because like again, I'm not a therapist. You know, I talk to one, but my thing is like, it's it's blatantly obvious the shit that you shouldn't be saying,
We're doing.
like, or doing, and like again, not knocking you. Like, I don't have no degree. I
Uh-huh.
don't have any of all this shit. But I was raised with common fucking sense. And I'm just sitting here going like, bro, no. If you confide in a friend, you can kind of slightly trauma them.
Right.
But I mean, bro, you're just, it seems like I'm not like, because God forbid, I hope they don't watch the show or any shit like that or whatever. It seems like he's just taking the easy way out
Mm-hmm.
of like therapy or
Yeah.
a therapist, and it's just like, well, why don't you have this? Because I used to have a glass of wine. Then why don't you? What?
Yeah. Like,
Or it's
let's
like,
stop and think.
yeah,
And
like,
that's why I like told him at the end when I was in the driver, I was like, you don't understand. Like, it wasn't just this incident. Like, you've been doing this and you've actually been causing harm to my clients. Like, I am the therapist to these clients, not you. They are my responsibility. And if shit really hit the fan because of something you did, guess who's getting held responsible for that?
right,
Me. And I was like, one thing that you seem to forget there, buddy, is that even as therapists, okay, we can indeed be sued for malpractice.
right. And it seems like you're doing your job and you're the therapist, but he seems to be, what is the word? An enabler. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he's enabling them. Hey, have that drink, or
Mm-hmm.
smoke that weed, or use this drug, or dump all your fucking problems on somebody else because we're good. All right, time's up. Bye. Like,
Right?
why are you here?
And that's
Like,
what I asked him. I was like, what do you even know about family based? He's like, he goes, I know therapy, unlike you. And I was like, no, you may understand therapy, but you don't know how to practice it. And there is a difference.
wow. Just wow.
Mm-hmm. So
Wow.
like that's where I was like, literally, I was just like, all right, so I'm a cold-hearted bitch, like everything of this nature. I was just like, this is why I think I'm happy single, because like obviously I can't challenge men. Obviously, like they feel very intimidated when I know a lot of information, can't talk to them about it. It's just like,
I mean, maybe it's just because it's me. I don't. I don't think most. I use that term a lot because I don't ever want women to be classified in just this, like all women,
mhm,
men. But I believe certain men will challenge you back. You
yeah.
know what I mean? And then certain men will agree with what you're saying or have a genuine like debate conversation,
Hmm.
you know, where you two might just bang heads a little bit,
Hmm.
but you're gonna see it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not just go on your separate
Hmm.
ways. Be like, fuck this, I'm out of here. You know, no. I believe when you find somebody that challenges you back,
Hmm.
or at least was kind of gets on your level, oh, it's fucking rap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you can actually have decent conversations, genuine
Hmm.
conversations, and not feel like in a way you're bulldozing them. Because
Yeah.
obviously, you're very strong headed. You know where
Hmm.
you know what you want. We've talked on this plenty of times. But if a man can accept what you're doing, know what you're doing, even if you're making more than them and whatever, if I guess in a sense, if they're down to ride with you, but
Hmm.
they also have like you can make what you make or do what you do and have all the success you have, and the guy can fuck it, could be less than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But still, very goal oriented, driven,
Hmm.
has like a 5 year plan, wants to do things like is consistent. Like he has a plan.
Right.
Like there's no way that couldn't work. You know what I mean? But the
Hmm.
thing is, there's too many stubborn men that are like,
Hmm.
well, no, I have to be like the breadwinner. No, I have to do this, and it's so
Hmm.
stuck on the old ways
Hmm.
that they don't really get that times are changing. It's cool. Like it's fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
that
Because I have noticed that, Paul, where like I would like, I don't want to say require, but I do have conditions if I'm going to date. Okay,
that's
like
fine.
if you are over the age of 40, please do not be living with your mother. Unless, of course, you would, and but I can't even say that because if you just recently got divorced, I don't want to be with you. I want you to heal first. I don't want to
Correct.
jump into something. I want you to be able to find yourself again. So I'm not going to get involved with that. But like if you're literally living with your mother because you enjoy the fact that she does your laundry and it smells great, okay, there's a problem.
For God's sakes, just get one of those fucking Downy scents and sprinkle it in the fucking
Right?
shit.
And like that's pretty much my condition. I can't even say that I have low standards. Like my condition is like, if you're over the age of 40, don't be living with your mom. Okay, please
Right.
don't be married. I'm tired of that shit. I really am.
Like have your shit together.
Yes.
If you do end up like living with a parent, like my thing is if you lived with a parent, like not hopefully because that's too much. Like maybe you're taking care of them.
Yeah.
You
There
know what I
has to be
mean?
like there's always an exception to the rule, right? Like if you're telling me
Absolutely.
that your parents are sick and you're taking care of them, they're aging, you want to take, I'm all for that because that to me shows that you care, that there's empathy, everything else. Okay. No qualms about that. But if you're telling me that you're 40 years old and you're still living at home with mom because you enjoy her home cooked meal and you're waiting for somebody to replace mom, there's
Right.
an issue.
Correct. um, so speaking of like home cooked meals and whatnot, so so Saturday, we were out and we had to do like Sam's Club shopping, and of course, if anybody is going to see my Facebook because I was going to try to put it on here, um, but I'm having problems with like MP3 format. It has to be like an MP3 four. I'm gonna put up a video of Xander literally being in a freezer at Sam's Club.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So, but trust and believe, I will have it on socials by the time this drops. But so we were at Sam's Club, and myself, Brandy, and her mother and Xander were like shopping and shit like that. And Xander's over by the freezer section, and I was just messing with him, showing him like, "Hey, you open it up," and he was like, "Oh, it's so cold," and he was like blowing into it, and I was like, "Oh, do you remember when you got into the freezer when you were a kid?" And he was like, "Yeah, yes, Dada," and I was like, "All right, cool." And he looks at me and he was like, "I'm gonna do it again, or do it again," and I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Here." He's like, uh, record it for me. And I was like, record what? I turn around, he's in the freezer. Door shut, looking at me, and I was like, okay. So I take the video and you can hear Brandy like cackling, laughing at this shit. Because like it caught her and her mom completely off guard. So, I'm getting to the meal thing, but like that was that part. And then we went to the Olive Garden for dinner. And it was nice and like lovely and we had a great time. And like so we had to go back to Sam's to pick up some of Brandy's sister's like groceries. Well, I'm old. So when I went back to Sam's Club, let's just say for the politeness of this podcast, my stomach was not agreeing with me.
Mhm.
So I went to the bathroom. I go in the furthest fucking stall away. There's four more stalls, right? And I get in the stall, I go to do my business, and I hear, now mind you, again, people, I'm in the furthest stall towards
Mhm.
the back. There's one, two, three, four stalls before the urinals. So when this person come in, they literally came in the urinal right next to me. You know, they heard me. You know, it's
Oh.
just weird. It's awkward. So I don't give a fuck. It's my show. So it may be TMI, but like I can't go when somebody's next to me. Like that's really
Mhm.
weird for me. So I was sitting there and I was already in the midst of it, and this guy is like, I don't know what's going on in his intestines, but he's blowing out everything. Like plain and simple. And he's like letting it all out and whatnot. And all of a sudden, because I knew he was right next to me and there was all this space, I figured you just made it awkward for me. I'm going to
Mhm.
make it awkward for you. So when all that happens and he's out there, I don't know, shitting his fucking brains out or whatever. And I was like, oh, did you have the manicotti also? Dude, crickets. I mean, fucking crickets. You heard, um, like you heard the toilet paper going, and then all of a sudden he's like pulling up his pants and freaking the
Like
fuck
we're
out,
out.
flushing. Dude, he fucking pieced out so fast. And I was like, all right, so I like finished my business or whatever. Like, okay, fuck you. Don't why who does this shit, man? Like why have some like understand like respect what like, hey,
Mhm.
somebody's doing their business. Let me take the first one or the second one. No, right next
Nope.
to me. So it just fucked me up. So I was like, I'm gonna make it awkward for you. The manicotti get to you too? Okay. Like, yeah. So I I don't even think they washed their hands to be quite honest. They were so
Uh,
freaked the fuck out. But beelines out, whatever. And I did my thing. I came out and I was telling Brandy the story and she's losing it. So I swear, like I'm looking around because I still people watching. I'm trying to find that
mhm.
person. And I was like, please don't be a Sam's Club worker because that's gonna make it really awkward.
Yeah.
But I swear I saw like this couple and this guy's like doing this, like, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, that's the guy. That gotta be the fucking guy. Because the guy's just fucking, he's in a straight panic, like telling his wife, you believe some cocksucker fucking was talking to me in the shitter? You know?
I can like imagine him going to his like, can we wrap this up? We gotta go.
We gotta go. Susan, let's go. Let's go. By the way, apparently you shouldn't have the manicotti over.
Last time I take a shit at Sam's Club.
Yeah, right. Don't take a shit at Sam's Club. Don't be right next to somebody for fuck's sakes. So just a PSA, if you see somebody in the fucking stall, don't be that person and get right next to them.
Even
Because
I was gonna say because this happened a while back. I can't remember exactly when, but I went to go use a bathroom. I think it was at Target. And I went in, and a mom came in with her child, and she went to go like sit in, come into the stall next to me, right? And all of a sudden, the little girl, she had to be maybe 4. She's like, "No, mommy, we don't go to the stall next to someone else." And you heard her going, like, looking, right? And then she finds one a couple of like stalls down, and her mom's like, "Okay, good call." Like, she goes in, but it was really cute because she goes, "Mommy, can you help me? I need help pulling down my pants." And the mom's like, "Yeah, yeah." And then I guess the mom's like in the process of trying to help her. And the little girl goes, wait, no, mommy, stop. I'm holding my toy. We're not going to have poop on my toy.
Yeah. But like a 4-year-old knows.
No, yep.
You don't go in the fucking shitter right next to somebody.
Right?
You don't go into the fucking stall right next to somebody. But I mean, apparently, you know,
Grown men don't care. Yeah.
Greg from fucking Sam's Club don't get the fucking memo. Like he was raised to just shit wherever or whatever. But like I did. And then like I came out of the bathroom, I'm fucking pissing myself because
Mhm.
I just made it really awkward for somebody because it made it awkward for me. So yes, PSA, don't do that to somebody. If you see
Mm-mm.
open spots, have like proper like bathroom etiquette. I
Yeah.
mean, I know some of y'all are nasty motherfuckers out in this world, but seriously, man, and
Hmm.
just make up whatever if
Yeah.
somebody's sitting next to you. Like, hey, do you have the manicotti?
And
Make it
I'm just gonna
awkward.
throw it out there. There are exceptions to the rule, okay? You men don't really have to deal with this, but for the ladies out there, okay? I mean, you can always sit next to, you can always go into the stall next to somebody if you're at a crazy concert or a sporting event and all the toilets are taken up.
That's
Okay?
fair. That's fair. Because like I've been to sporting events, I've been to pit games and whatnot where there are two gentlemen
Hmm.
in the stalls, and that's again exception to the rule.
Yeah.
But but there I digress. If there is all this space open, they'll be right here.
No.
That's almost the same as like a sporting event
Hmm.
and or something of that nature where there's nobody at the stalls, like the
Hmm.
urinals for men, and all of a sudden there's one guy that has to be right next to you. It's like, don't make it weird.
No.
Like just don't. Just
Mm-mm.
like just no. Mm-mm. I had to say that today. I was like, yeah, a fucking manicotti. I
Hmm.
just make up shit next time. Just be like, hey, Stanley got a new leaf blower or something. Fuck it. Who cares? Make it awkward for them or something.
It's like my mom, like she worries a lot, but she says the same thing about women if you go running at night. Run weirdly. Act weird. Act like you're crazy so that they are less likely to kidnap you.
I mean, if you start running like Phoebe from Friends, I mean,
Right?
maybe she's had it this whole time and we just never knew. Like she was like, hey, it's how you run
Hmm.
because there's some weirdos out there.
Yeah.
So there's like there's some weird. Me and Brandy were watching something, and if she's listening to this, she'll like tell me. But somebody, the expression, the expression was said, and they were like, "Well, fluff my feathers." Um, I don't know.
Hmm.
So now I'm just gonna start fucking with people because, like, well, it's like how your streaming services, some of them will have like commercials.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. It was one of those commercials. But I don't know if anybody else deals with it, but like the streaming services, if you have commercials, they show like the same 5 to 6 commercials repetitively.
Hmm.
And that one came on and I was like, did that motherfucker just say fluff my feathers? And she was like, yeah, he did. I was like,
Hmm.
all right, okay. Well, fluff my fucking feathers. So I was like, that shit just made the pot instantly because I ain't heard anybody ever say fluff my fucking feathers. But the thing
Really? I've
is,
heard that phrase since I was a kid.
really?
Yeah.
I was like, no, that's a new one for me, man.
Yeah. Fluff my
Um,
feathers, meaning you're pissing me off.
yeah, well, no, it was like the way they were saying, well, fluff my, like they were flabbergasted. They were using it as
It could be,
adjectives.
yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, I've never heard anybody like, well, fluff my feathers. Mine's
Hmm.
always, I grew up with, get the fuck out of here. It was
Yeah.
plain, it was
I,
pretty straight to
I,
the point.
it was like fluff my you're fluffing my feathers, you're wriggling my feathers, you're ruffling my feathers. That's what it was.
Yeah,
You're ruffling my feathers. And then the other one was you're putting me in a foul disposition.
wow. Mine, what used to be like you're overcooking my grits.
Mm.
I'm like, oh, all right. My grandma would do that once in a while. They're overcooking my grits. I'm like, did you even make some fucking grits, or what are we talking about here? Is there grits here? No, no. Why are we
You making
having this
food?
fuck? Why are we having this fucking conversation? But um, that transitions into like we were watching a movie on what is it, Pluto, and the movie's like standard hour and a half, 2 hours long. I swear it was like 3 hours because of all the commercials the entire time.
Hmm.
And I love how we're now in the world where certain streaming services has that little circle in the corner and has a countdown of how many. No,
Uh-huh.
Pluto don't have that. They don't have that. It's just a circle and it goes real.
Oh my God, it would drive me nuts.
Yeah, it got me to the point where it's like I'm never doing this again.
Mm-mm.
I just let I'm not a fan of commercials. I'm not a fan.
Oh, I was gonna ask you if you had a favorite one because I do. I have a new favorite.
Okay.
It's who does Emu and Doug?
Liberty Mutual.
That's it. So Liberty Mutual. And so Emu is at a house and it's showing like when he's like not so much a kid, but like I guess he's leaving his parents.
Oh,
And
when he's
Emo
kicking
has
them out.
yes, you see that one where he has a little stick and he's wearing his glasses. He's walking down the driveway, and the father's like, "You're never gonna succeed in life. You're never gonna get anywhere. You're just a bird who can't fly." And the mom's like, "No, honey, he's just a bird with dreams." And then, like, it says years later, the dad's sitting on the couch in the chair, and then he looks up and he goes, "Well, I'll be darned. That bird did it."
I've seen the short version and the long one, and the dad's yelling. I'm like, nobody's ever want to customize their car insurance. Who thinks of this shit? Like, what the fuck? Just like what's so like? What are they? The semi gluten or the shots? The
Yeah.
Jardians, the Trulicity, all that, etc.
Hmm.
Dude, I I heard somebody go, "Why the fuck are they all bouncing around happy and shit?" And I'm like, "It's it's a fucking commercial. Like it's just a commercial." They pissed me off because they're all happy.
It was like that one where they were dancing, but the woman was pretty big, and my mom was like, "If you got diabetes, why are you that big?" And she was like, "Maybe you shouldn't be taking the shot. Maybe you should be worried about your diet." And my mom went off.
Your mom, I swear, your mom gets like how my dad does. He'll just watch that shit and be like, "You know, her big ass ain't moving around like that." And then like he's like, if they cut it down and just show her legs, you know that's a stunt double, right? Yeah. The fuck? Ain't nobody have diabetes and not happy. I'm like, Dad,
Okay,
like I have it, I'm happy. He
right?
was like, yeah, but are you like that happy? And I'm
No,
like,
I'm not dancing
no.
around in the streets, but
I didn't know it was like singing in the rain where I got people behind me doing like all kind of like what is it, mobbing. Like I don't know. I've never been that excited where I'm just start singing. Like the fucking my mom, she goes nuts over the Jordians one
uh-huh.
because like my mom, God bless her, my mom will sing that shit like Jordians is really swell, and I'm like, Mom, calm the fuck down. She's like, it's catchy. I was like, not really. Like she's like, no, it just sticks. It sticks. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I get it. I get it. I also got
Mhm.
feedback over the one from last week, the Roseanne
Mhm.
rapping. People told like I got a couple of Facebook messages and was like, I hate you. Oh my God, this is bullshit. And I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, like if the purpose of it is, yeah. They're like, no. The worst part is like I go through life and be like, how they turn Becky into Dan. I'm like,
Right?
that's what was intended. Like you could tell that's what they
Uh-huh.
intended on doing. And I was
I
like,
actually like stopped myself from rewatching it for that reason.
because we as society will pick up on it and be like, you know what? That sounds so fucking bad. Like,
Mhm.
like you'll start, no, 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 get out of
Nope.
here. Get out of here, man. Like, I'm good. Like, if I see something, I don't like it,
Hmm.
you're all gonna see it too. And then you can get
Right.
your own fucking opinion on it because it's just the way life is. Like, if I see something and it captures my eye and I'm like, that's gonna go on the pod. Yeah,
Right.
let's do that. All right, we'll do that. Uh so also um Xander, people have asked. Xander has had a second bocce match. They've had a whole bunch of crazy um scheduling because of like the cold front that came through the East Coast.
Hmm.
He has two matches this week. He has another two matches next week. His match that transpired at the beginning of the week, they tied. So it's just like kind of like hockey esque, kind of from what I'm being told. So it's a tie, but they get two more wins for them. He has another one this Thursday, but by the time this comes on, you'll find out next week if I told you
Hmm.
if he won or not. But um, he's uh, he's really into it. Like him and sports. Again, I've digressed this millions of times. I never in a million years thought him in sports, but just watching it all unfold and how he wants to do things. And then, a shout out to his mother and I. Like, we are we're working as a cohesive unit to get him to try different things now. And now we're not even getting pushback from him. It's more or
Hmm.
less like, okay, yeah, I want to. All right. So February 21st, Xander is doing a pull lunge down at Acrisure Heinz Field Stadium. But he needs getting donations for his polar plunge. Now he's already exceeded over what he has to get the shirt for it. But in the bottom of this podcast, I'm going to put the link for his donations, like his little site. And then if you whatever anybody wants to donate, that's fine. If you want to put it up on your socials about it, that's great. I don't It's more or less the recognition of Xander doing this than anything.
Hmm.
So I don't want people to feel in a sense obligated, like, I have to find out how much money they spent or how much they donated. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. His mom don't care. It's just this sheer fact that people are either sharing it or donating whatever they can. We're not asking for multi-millions of dollars. We got to the goal of $50 so he can get his shirt to do this. But if you have a minute and feel like donating towards his unified sports, that's fantastic. But for the people that have already donated or continue to donate, I do say thank you. His mother thanks you. We all thank you.
Hmm.
And because of that, I'm going to take the video of him going into this polar plunge and we'll put it on here whenever it happens. So again, if you have a minute, feel like donating, please do. If you can't, we all understand. People go through it, but he he's just he's excelling so fast and growing up even quicker. And
Hmm.
it's just what he's doing right now is just I believe this is who Xander was meant to be.
Hmm.
Like just to be out there exploring things, trying new things. Like again, when we were out at dinner, he didn't have the man quality.
Well, I would hope not.
But he tried like calamari and like he was trying different foods. stuff that he wouldn't be interested in.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I I talk about children on the spectrum, and I've said it millions of times that they're all different in their own way. But it's okay to try something with them.
Mm-hmm.
It's really okay. Xander has a stigma where if he doesn't like it, he'll still try it. But then you'll ask him like, "Hey, you want some more?" And he'll be like, "Nope."
Mm-hmm.
That to me, or anybody else that knows Xander, knows like he's attempted it,
Right.
but he ain't gonna fucking try it again. Especially food wise, he's like, "I'm good." Like
Mm-hmm.
I did what you asked.
Yep.
Don't ask me to eat another one. Like
Mm-hmm.
as long as he tried it, that's all I give a shit about. Same with
Yeah.
his mom. As long as he tries.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I encourage any kid on any parent with kids on the spectrum, or just kids. If you have kids, get them to
Yeah.
try something than this.
Mm-hmm. I always encourage, unless of course, it's going to cause them to vomit or have an outbreak of some sort, like things of that nature, because there are kids on the spectrum who do have sensory issues where even
Yep.
like a touch it and it's like, ugh. So,
Yeah. If it's hit or miss, but
hmm
If Xander does like mashed potatoes,
yeah.
he yeah, like
Hmm
he's there, like he's nope, I'm good. I
hmm
mean, again, it's like one thing. Nope, it's like the texture, maybe like the.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to shit on mashed potatoes for people, but like maybe he feels like they're slimy or something. It's like,
Uh-huh.
you know, but
It's just like I also know kids on the spectrum who like, due to sensory, like they don't like touching dirty plates because of whatever the thing. They're like, ew, that's gross.
yeah,
That's like, and I'm like, okay, got it.
yep, absolutely. I've watched Xander, like he got what the hell? He got like our cars, how they get the salt on them,
Hmm
and he got it on his hand, and all, dude, it was crazy. He was just like he just couldn't have that texture on his
Uh-huh.
fingers, and there was a part of me that was like, that's crazy because I don't like it either. But
Yeah.
I mean, certain people just don't like it.
hmm
But like, yet this will be the kid that will go in like 10-degree water and
Right.
be perfectly fine in it. But I mean, his mother and I were like, um, if it's a body of water, doesn't matter the temperature. Xander will get in that some bitch.
hmm
I mean, this is the same kid that got in the ocean in April or May
Do you
when
know
my
how healthy your kid is going to be? Do you know the benefits of just sitting in cold water for 10 minutes? Like, seriously, your kid is going to live to like 100.
right? Yeah, but then at that point, like Xander will be in his old age, and they'll be like, "Hey, how you feeling?" He'll just look at somebody, and be like, "Dude, Xander's all done. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be here no more, man. Like, I'm tired." But yeah, I had to be in the cold plunge. I had to go do this cold water all the time because I
Look where it's
wanted to
got
do
me.
this. I wanted to do this so bad. Yeah, like it was my cousin Charles was graduating from the Marines, and he was so adamant about going in the ocean
Mhm.
that he went in, and he went in a good distance, but he wouldn't come back out. And I was like, okay. So I remember like talking to Ashley. She's like, I'm not gonna go in there and go get him. And I was like, I was more clothed, to be honest. Like it was windy there and shit.
Mhm.
But I went in there. Oh man, I tell you right now, my balls were in my fucking throat. I don't like. I felt like I had three Adam's apples. Like it was bad. But then I remember going out there. I remember getting X, and I remember bringing them back. And I was like, "Come on." I was like, "You want to get out of the water?" And he looked at me. He's like, "No, dude." His lips were like blue. It was like he just loves a body of water. Like I just can't get him out. Like he will swim until he's purple, and yeah. So this cold plunge is perfect for him.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna
So I,
ask, like, could he join? Are there any like swim teams that he could possibly join?
um, I think there are. I know when we did his birthday party, there was something in the mix of it, like him doing like swimming lessons or something like that. But now, like our schedule's starting to like pick up a little bit
Yeah.
because like now he has the summer, spring and summer. Now he has
Mm.
winter, and um, now they're doing like other things too. Like they did like unified football,
Mm-hmm.
and so and now it's cool because like Xander's starting to get like invested in the community, or at least with his like peers and his friends.
Yeah.
So like anything that involves the school, Xander's like a part of, especially when it comes to like anything unified, Xander's a part of.
Good.
And like yeah, like it's it's very impressive that he's so active and wants to be in these things and do this stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, his his mother and I are like super proud of the young man he's actually become. Even though, he's a teenager, sometimes he can be a pain in the ass. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he has an attitude towards his mother. He has an attitude towards anybody. He just has an attitude.
Yeah.
And then,
And that's
you
where I'm
know,
going to ask you a question, because this kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And I was just like, I love my best friend. Like, but the way she said it, I was like, and this is where like a lot of the parents nowadays, like if they have this mindset, I was like, this is why your kids want to put you in in a senior community and like not have anything to do with you.
I'll be damned. I
So,
would love if Xander did it. Can you imagine what me and Ashley would do in a fucking old folks' home? And if it's pertained by Xander, we'd eat fucking chicken and fries every day. We'd have nothing but electronics around us. And eventually, you never know, we just might be in a bed all day.
right?
But no, carry on.
So she's got two teenagers. She's got a 16-year-old and now she's got a 13-year-old. Okay, soon to be 13-year-old. And her 12, almost 13-year-old is having a really, really difficult time. And being a teenager, she keeps everything bottled in. She doesn't come and she doesn't talk to anyone, right?
Yeah.
And so especially her mother. Her mother, I love her to death, but she just will not process any of her childhood trauma. And, she just wants to always come back in full circle. And so she doesn't know how to regulate her own emotions. And she's always being passive aggressive with her children. And she's always yelling at them. And, so like if they make a mistake, she doesn't teach them. She doesn't guide them to be like, oh, okay, well, all right, it's a mistake. She just starts yelling and flying off the handle. Right.
Uh-huh.
So of course her kids don't want to come to her and talk to her. They're just like, well, you're just gonna fly off the fucking handle. Why am I gonna talk to you? All right.
Right.
So she's sitting here telling me that, and this is where it broke my heart. And I was like, I can't even believe you're not even thinking about this. So I've seen it when I was in New York. And so she practices her religion, and it was like every Sunday she had her kids. And now for me personally, I know everybody's different and I respect everybody's culture, their beliefs and everything else. But for me personally, I don't think if I had children, I don't think I would ever like expose them to any type of religion, only because I would want them to make their own decisions later in life, to be like, if this is what I want to do, that's what I'm going to do. Because I remember going in when I was younger, like being forced to go to CCD, being forced to learn a religion that my parents followed, where I was just like, I'm only doing it because they tell me to do it, you know?
Yeah.
So she has them do like a Bible study. So they are Jehovah Witness and they do Bible study. And so it would happen to have been that it was like that weekend after they had seen their bio dad and shit hit the fan and everything else. And the 12-year-old was just like, well, yeah, I cried when daddy left and everything else. And this woman who is literally like 41 years old was just like, oh, well, that's really challenging for you to have to experience that, to have your dad leave again. And, my friend's daughter was like, no, not really. I'm used to it. He's never around. He's in and out. When he leaves, he leaves. I won't see him again for another 3 years. It's what it is.
Right.
And this woman literally kept egging on. And she was like, no, honey, talk about your feelings. That is challenging. That's hard to deal with. It's okay to open up and say that it's hard. And she's like, but it's not. I'm telling you the truth. Like, it really isn't hard. Like, when dad isn't around and dad barely talks to us and doesn't call, like, he's gone. Why
Yeah.
am I going to get upset that the man who's not here left yet again?
If I just told you that I was okay, I'm fucking okay. Like,
Right. And this woman just kept pushing and pushing and kept telling her that she was wrong, that she wasn't, like listening to her feelings and just like literally being like, honey, why are you lying to me about it? And that pissed me off because I was like, as a 41-year-old woman, you should be able to respect a 12-year-old and say, hey, if that's how you're feeling, that's how you're feeling. And if you don't want to talk to me about it, okay. So I started to see that, my friend's daughter started obviously getting agitated and she started raising her voice. Like, why are you not fucking listening? Like, I just told you I'm okay. And then because she started raising her voice, the lady was like, well, now you're getting angry and you're not okay. And I'm just sitting there going, you're not a fucking therapist, bitch. You just read out of a goddamn fucking Bible. You do Bible study. Learn, stay in your lane. Stay in your fucking lane. Okay.
true.
So apparently what happened was they went to a Jehovah's Witness meeting over the week, last week, and Chris Brown is a big influence for this 12-year-old. She loves
Okay.
him, like whatever the case may be. So the 41-year-old has her own opinions, and she's like, well, he's a wife beater and blah, 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 this and this. Like, that's all she holds on to.
Yeah.
And the 12-year-old was like, I don't look at him that way. Like, she was like, after all, isn't that what our religion teaches us? To forgive the past, to forgive those for the past? Like, why am I going to focus in on his past when that's what you're telling me is like not to focus in on somebody's past and to look at where they've come, you
Correct.
know? So, of course, when a 12-year-old says this, now the 41-year-old thinks that she's being challenged and she's like, no, that's not it. And so she starts literally dismissing this 12-year-old and telling her that she's wrong and what she's saying is inappropriate. So of course the 12-year-old, who is very strong-willed, and I love her for this, like she will challenge you. She will get up into your face and challenge you and be like,
Right.
why is it that you're going to tell me one thing but do another? How are you going to be hypocritical about it? Right?
Right.
This is a strong-willed girl who would turn into one hell of a lawyer. And as my friend's telling me this, she sits there and she's like, well, now she's grounded for a week because she challenged an adult. And I'm like, excuse me? I was like, why is challenging an adult wrong? And she's like, oh, no. She was like, this is it because adults and children are not equal. And she's like, we are not on the same level and you will not disrespect any fucking adult. You will not get in their face and challenge them. You do as you were told. And if she tells you that you were wrong, you were wrong. You sit your ass down and you accept it.
Mm. There's layers to that is the way I would see it.
Mm-hmm.
One, let's rewind it back to this 41-year-old telling a 12-year-old that she should open up her feelings to her.
Right.
Then you have the 12-year-old that tells the 41-year-old, like, nah, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good. Point taken. Even even if we'll just B for people, we'll just do it that way. B is the 12-year-old, A is the 41-year-old. B, if B's like, no, I'm good, even if she wasn't good,
Mm-hmm.
you don't know A from a fucking can of paint. You
Right.
know what I mean? I get if
Mm-hmm.
she's part of the church or congregation, whatever, etc. Fair. Is she part of your family? No. No, not at all. So that layer to me, I would have loved it if that little girl was like, "Are you a fucking cop? Like,
Right.
why are you keep rewording your answers and trying to get me to say something I don't want to say?"
Mm-hmm.
Like that as a parent for me would drive me nuts. Be like, please don't talk to my kid that way. Like,
Right.
stop, shut that
Yeah.
shit the fuck down. But how she said, like, that there's two ways to that. Like when she's like, don't disrespect anybody, like an adult. I don't want Xander to ever disrespect an adult. Of course, he's going through like this thing right now where it's more or less like women. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's going through a thing. And I'm not going to get into it in more details like that, like the root of it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if I see him disrespect a female,
Mm-hmm.
like not so I don't want people getting it taken out of context like it's like mad disrespectful. It's back talk. Like it is just Me and him, it's solid. He might
Mhm.
throw it up a decimal or two or have like one quick witted thing to say to me, but I will shut that shit the fuck down instantaneous.
Mhm.
Like I will. Like, what did you say? I'm sorry. Like
Yeah.
bang, instantly. But if he has some sort of like snarky comment or attitude, especially towards his mother,
Mhm.
I'm not fucking having it. I'm not. I'm not. Like now that the thing with me and his mother is really great.
Mhm.
I'm there to make sure that you don't disrespect your mother and you do not do that shit in front of me. Because if you do, I will shut that shit the fuck down. Like I
Mhm.
just won't. And for people that's like, oh well, it's his mom, or what about other women? Same fucking thing. But the only
Yeah.
thing is that's his mother. I'm not having that happen in front of me, nor do I want him to do that when I'm not there to her
Mhm.
because it's just wrong. Don't do that to her. I don't care
Right.
what's happened, what's transpired, how you feel, or you're going to work it out with her. That's your mother.
See, that's where, like, I hear you say that's how you feel. And this is like what I always work on with my clients, okay? Because the thing is, I hear you, and I'm also hearing, like, oh, because of her title, my child can't express how he's feeling. Like, this is what I always say to my clients, right? You will always be valid. Your emotions will always be valid. Your behaviors will not. I will listen to you. I will not dismiss your emotions whatsoever, but I will challenge you on your behaviors. And this is where I see it, like when my clients give in the parent attitude. Okay, let's take a minute. Let's take a minute. There's a reason, there's an underlying reason why you're feeling this way towards her. Rather than yelling, let's work on positive communication and conflict resolution. We can't do that though if you're yelling and screaming.
Right.
So let's take a minute. What is going on? Let's both calm down, because all of a sudden that's all I hear from them. Yeah, I'm your fucking mother. You will not talk to me that. Okay, but let's take a minute, because now you just dismissed your child and said that they cannot express themselves.
Right.
Let's take a minute and teach them that they can talk to me. I want them to talk to me. I want them to communicate with me, but in a better way.
Right.
I don't want them to be I don't want them to come out and like yell at me or use foul language with me. That's not the way they should be with anyone.
Right.
Parent, adult, child, peer, no one. But that's where I'm always like, whenever I hear like I'm the mother, you will respect me. Respect is earned and not given. That I mean,
It's just
honestly,
more like, it's more like, how to fucking put a place on it. It's not like he can't express himself. Like it's more like you'll get it. It's more like sassy teenager, you know,
yeah.
like sass. It's the best way I can say it.
Yeah.
And it's just sass. Like it's like that. I don't want to kind of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not like where he's voicing something. I get what
Mhm.
you're saying, but it's
Yeah.
just that feeling. Like I don't
Yeah.
wanna, or you know what I mean?
And then
It's
I'm going to
something
ask
like
you,
that.
how many times as an adult, when you're going to work, do your boss tell you something? How many times do you roll your eyes, or how many times are you like, Jesus fucking, why do I have to do this?
We only have an hour and a half for a fucking podcast.
Yeah. See?
Believe me.
So that's why, like, a lot of times, I mean, when I'm around her, because my best friend was like, how do you tolerate it when she gives you attitude? I pick and choose my battles.
Oh
She's
yeah,
she's an
100%.
adolescent. Huh?
100%. But the
Yeah.
thing with your friend that kills me though is you're she's kind of disciplining her daughter over what like a stranger
41 year.
is
Yes.
saying, really.
Yes.
And that's something I know myself or Ashley will not tolerate. Like if a stranger told us, we've learned our lessons from what a stranger tells us, or
Right.
you know, makes us deter away from our kids.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm gonna trust my kid
Exactly.
over
Now, I'm not
everything.
saying that we should always, just immediately side with our kids, because
No,
kids
but
do
you
have
want
to
to
learn.
feel it the fuck out.
Right.
Like
Like
feel
kids
it
do have
out.
to be held accountable for their behaviors and actions as well. So, like, hypothetically, if she punched this woman in the face, yes, I would take her side because I would be like, she's 41 years old. I'm sorry that my child acted out and punched you in the face. Let's try to figure out what happened,
But a
right?
part of me would have been like, that bitch had a fucking comment because she asked my daughter the same
Yes,
question four
yes, won't
times.
lie. Exactly, right? Yes.
But
But at the
again,
same
with
token, I wouldn't
dosages
not.
levels.
Exactly. It's like a double-edged sword because like I would want my child to understand that's not how we react to any type of situations when we get angry.
No, I
But
hear you.
when you're also being egged on by an adult who should know better.
Repetitively, yeah,
Exactly. And that's when I was like, why are you signing with this 41-year-old bitch? You should have known better. Like I would have been
right,
signing with your kid.
right. Like that's what you should do, and that's like if you like if you're with somebody and the kid's not theirs, like you want to just in general it doesn't matter if they're your significant other or like somebody who's not part of your family that has a general knowledge of the fucking child.
Mm-hmm.
Their quirks, their ups, their downs, their ins and outs, how they are, how they display themselves, their emotions, how they respond, how they're triggered, everything about the child. You have to
Yeah.
have some common nomenclature about the kid. If you're just uh Jane from the fucking church and you're yelling at her over at um let's try to figure out why did you yell at Jane from the fucking church? Like, what's the
Right?
reason? Oh, well, mom, she kept asking me the same question like over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So like I just not like I challenged her mom, but I was just like, I'm in my mind, I was like, I had enough of this shit. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so I started elevating my voice. Like maybe if I elevated my voice, maybe she would stop talking. Or
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I've already answered this question four times. Like, what more do you want from me? Why do you keep
Right?
asking me the same things?
And that's where I was like telling, my best friend, I was like, when I'm working with my clients, I've had this situation where even the dad was like, why can't my 8-year-old son just walk away? Because your 8-year-old son, okay, has a limited amount of skills that he has learned, primarily because I'm looking at both of you as to why, he hasn't learned these skills. Okay. He's only using what he has. And at that point, he doesn't know to walk away. He hasn't been taught to walk away. You, as an adult, though, have been. Why aren't you walking away? And that's
Right.
what I said to my best friend in this situation. If the 41-year-old adult was annoyed with the 12-year-old, why did she not just say, hey, okay, thanks for this conversation. That's cool. I'm going to end it though because I got to get going. Maybe later we can pick up on this and get up and move your ass and walk away.
But no, it's just like she seemed like she was trying to strike the point with a 12-year-old. Like it was your agenda to
Uh
push
huh.
that on that 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Like, just what, like, I'm still, I'm still at the beginning of this entire question you had for me, where it's like, how is nobody seeing the root problem where what is this 41-year-old person? What justification are they getting out of this 12-year-old by asking them the
Mm-hmm.
same question repetitively? And if the 12-year-old said, hey, man, I'm good. Hey, you know what? Nah, I'm really good. All
Yeah.
right. You know what I would have said at 42? I'd have been like, well, hey, Derek, if you need somebody to talk to, then I'm here.
I'm here.
Gone.
Done.
So,
And
you
that's
know,
why it
there's,
like baffles my mind how many adults forget that children are little people. Okay. Children are experiencing large emotions that they are struggling with, dealing with, and they need us as adults to be able to help them through this. And if
right,
we as adults cannot learn to regulate our own emotions or actually be supportive of our kids, what makes you think our kids are going to love us or trust us or want to be with us?
right. Like, the only thing that's like what drives me nuts about that, too, is kind of seems like mom kind of took that lady's word for it. That's what's driving me,
Yes.
too.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, that's not
No.
how this is done. Like, you know what I mean? Like, sure, there have been times where, for an example, Xander lies. He
Hmm.
like sometimes he lies, or we call it telling fibs. But like, we'll catch him in it, and then be like, "Why'd you do that?" I don't know. I don't know is the worst thing with him, because with him, I don't know is a barrage of things because I don't know is I don't want to tolerate it right now. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know could be like, well, it's what I wanted to do at the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot. And you if you're in the Xander world, you have to kind of work around what I don't know could be, and you're gonna have to
Mm-hmm.
talk with him and get more in depth. But he lies. I mean, what teenager
Yeah.
does? But my thing is, why would her daughter lie to her?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if, again, you're the parent, you're going to read them out and feel how they feel. Now, in Xander's case, it's a little bit different, but Pete, again, back to that circle.
Mm-hmm.
If you saw Xander's emotions and how he is either not looking at you or not staying in constant contact with you, because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it can be like, he doesn't really like direct looking,
Yeah.
or whatever. But mannerisms, the way his head
Mm-hmm.
moves, how he's looking around, just
Right.
his stemming of his hands. There's tendencies to know if Xander is actually telling the truth, uncomfortable about the situation.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of tells to that.
Yeah.
So in this case here, if she told her mom, hey, like I told her twice. And
Mm-hmm.
she's mom, she just kept coming at me. So I got backed into a corner, so to speak. So I was like, look, if
Yeah.
I do this, but then people are gonna say, well, why couldn't she walk away? Yo, she's 12.
Yeah.
She's 12. She's
Mm-hmm.
41.
Yeah.
Like, don't that that drives me nuts. That makes me think of last night. I was watching this Instagram reel and then I had to watch the whole video because that's how
Mm-hmm.
life is now. There was a little boy. Well, I couldn't say little. I'd say probably a little bit younger than Xander. Xander's 17. The kid was probably 14, 15. He's on a dirt bike. Okay. And he's riding around the block or whatever. And this man came up and told the kid, don't drive your fucking dirt bike on the street no more. Do you hear me? And the kid's like, yes, sir. The kid did nothing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. The dude's just being a bully and just a
Yeah.
dickhead. And then this is where it fucked me up. As a father, I'd have fucking killed him. The
Right.
guy, the guy gets out of the car and he was like fucking mush the kid onto the fucking ground, like mushes him over into the snow, and tells him like, "Don't drive that fucking dirt bike here. If your dad was here, I'd beat his pussy ass and blah blah blah." And I was like, I'm watching this and I am hurt. Like I'm
No.
just like, you got to be fucking kidding me. So the kid is like corresponding with him, like, oh, yeah, yes,
Mm-hmm.
sir. I'm out of here. I won't come back. It's fine. Well, all this footage is caught from a ring camera
Mm-hmm.
of this dude bullying this kid. So here, the kid has like a busted fucking lip because he mushed him so hard through the
Well, I was
fucking
going to
house.
say bullying isn't the answer. This is assault.
Dude, so what transpired is it ends up being an assault because the dad was 2 hours away on business, like for business. When he came home, the mom told him what happened. The guy was arrested for assault and is now like, there's like this whole thing about it. But I was like, dude, that's the thing. If these kids aren't doing nothing wrong,
Mm-hmm.
now, mind you, like what we see on the internet and whatnot, there's certain aspects of it. That kid did nothing
Nope.
and got pushed over and was yelled at because he was driving a dirt bike. This little girl is literally doing nothing, but this person, this older adult,
Mm-hmm.
is bullying her or getting her to try to open up to her
Mm-hmm.
when, quite frankly, bitch, I don't have anything to open up to you about.
Right.
Like, you heard me just explain when dad pieces out. We good. Like,
Right.
what do you want?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you want me to sit there and go, oh, when dad leaves, we get so sad and I can't understand the emotional trauma I'm going through? Does that make you fucking feel good? Like, you
Right.
feel better? You feel good about
Like,
that?
you want
Like,
to rip out your Bible and start reading off, like,
yeah, start reading off some passages to me or
right?
whatever. Like, I'm sorry, did I need to get you going today? Like, praise Jeebus? No,
Right?
no, I'm okay. I'm really all right. Like, I don't get that, man.
Mm-mm.
Like, the talking down to a kid is just like
Right?
that's exactly how I felt. Is what I said to you. Like, cool. You want to talk to somebody? I'm talking to you like I would talk to an adult. You want to talk to me
Yeah.
about it? Talk to me about it. Unless it is my son. Like, I'll ask him, like, what's going on? Nah, I don't know. Okay. Well,
Hmm.
how do you feel? I'm a little sad. Okay. About what?
Right.
Nah, I don't know. Okay, fuck, we're gonna be here a while. Like,
Yeah.
I know that I was like, okay, well, it's something.
But
So,
your approach is also different. Like, you're not pushing him. You know what I mean? Like, you're trying to get him to open up. But you
mhm,
also know your limits. Like, you're not sitting here being like, oh, you're not making these accusations about how he's feeling. You're not, making these assumptions of, oh, well, this is why you're upset. Like, you're not speculating on anything that's involved. Like, he's a teenager, yes, okay, but children and teenagers, they still have their own issues. Just because they go to school and come home doesn't mean that they don't have their own anxiety or their own negative thoughts or their own stress, okay? Their
right.
issues are much different than ours, but they don't know how to handle it. Just like sometimes, we may go to work and we'd be like, you know what? I had a fucking piss ass day today. And you may just be like, I'm ordering a fucking pizza, I'm having a beer, and I'm calling it a day, right? Okay.
Mhm.
Then kids want to come home, and then sometimes they're not coming home to an environment that they feel comfortable or safe enough to tell people what's going on.
Right. That's why I'm glad now that Xander has a great environment at his dad's and a great
Mm-hmm.
environment at his mother's. That way he can be at peace. And, because it's hard. Like, I say it all the time. I wish there's a way I could be in his head for
Yeah.
10 minutes just to have a general grasp of what's going on in here.
Mm-hmm.
That way it's like, if I had a little bit of those tools, oh my God, I can only imagine how much better the communication is.
Yeah.
But you don't. But I mean, like, such is life in a sense. Like, I'm not trying to
Mm-hmm.
be negative, but it's he still finds a way to communicate to us somehow,
Yeah.
some way, whatnot. And if I ever would ever see somebody talk to him like, no, tell me that Xander is gonna tell you like Xander's all done, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to talk about it no more.
Right.
And you know what he's gonna do? He's gonna peace out on you because that's what he
Yes.
wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's like, "Oh, fuck this. I gotta get this. My show is on, bro. Like, I ain't got time for this shit."
Right.
Like, what? I
But
already
like,
told
that's
him.
what I'm talking about. Be a parent and role model for your kids. Go to that person and be like, hey, what's going on? I hear that my child is raising her voice. Okay, well, how many times did she just explain to you that she's okay?
That's absolutely correct. Or be around the situation. Like,
Uh-huh.
I don't like to leave Xander. You know what I mean? I,
Yeah.
I mean, but it's like it's a give and take. Like, now I'm trying to let him have like that freedom. Like,
Mm-hmm.
be around him, but let him have a little bit of independence.
Right.
But like, in that particular situation with her being 12, I would still want to be within an earshot.
Yes.
And then when I would hear it, like, hey, blah, 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 and I'd be like, okay. And then I would hear her answer at once. And then a
Mm-hmm.
second time, by the third time, my ass is walking over there.
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, what's going on? I don't know if you heard her, but I think she said she's okay. Like, she's
Yeah.
all right. That's when you step in for your kid.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, no, she said she was good. Like, all right, Jane, get the fuck
Yeah.
out of here. Like, praise the
Yeah.
Lord. Hi, let's get the fuck out of here. Like, you know what
And
I
at
mean?
that
Like,
point, if that 41-year-old is not bothering to move out, I would be like, you know what, child, you know what, sweetheart, come on. We're getting ready to
that's it.
leave
We're
anyway.
leaving.
So,
Yep,
yep,
that's it. Yeah, de-escalate the situation.
exactly.
Plain and
But then,
simple.
like, every time I pointed it out, to be like, if you don't know how to de-escalate yourself, you're not going to know how to de-escalate a situation. If you cannot regulate your own emotions, you're not going to know how to help your child co-regulate.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So to answer your point, no, I'd probably fuck that person up.
Yeah.
That's just
I
me.
was, like, I've never yelled at my best friend the way that I did last night. I was like, are you fucking kidding me right now? That's how you parented? That's what you did?
Well, it makes no sense to me. It's like, why would you, like, in like layman's terms or whatever, it's like you're telling her, it's like, you can't stand up for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're just gonna let everybody shit all over me?
Yep.
And then she looks at her mom different, like, okay, so if I say anything that's not to like their standards or in a sense yours,
I'm going to get in trouble.
I'm just gonna get in trouble. So what the fuck am I even talking about?
Mm-hmm.
So now, again, God forbid, anything negative or bad was to happen to that little girl,
Mm-hmm.
she'll never tell her mom.
Nope. And
That
that's what I was
that and
like
that
trying
was
to
in an
instill.
instant. That's instantly what I got from that. She'll never tell her.
Nope. And
You
that's
just killed her.
exactly what I was trying to get to my friend, was like, where I was like, you just told her basically that her feelings don't matter, her opinions don't matter, all because she has to quote unquote respect all elders.
Right.
So the next time some other elder tells her to keep a secret from mommy, she's going to do that. And then you're going to bitch and scream that she did not tell you what happened, when all she did was respect the elder the way you told her to.
Right. Or else be mortified or terrified when you find out exactly what secret
Well,
she's keeping from mommy.
exactly.
And then when you find out, you're gonna like you're going to, in the back of your mind, go, "Oh my fucking god, I shouldn't have did that."
Mm-hmm.
Like I get, like, we're parents, we're learning things every day, like, but I feel like at the end of the day we have a core, like
Mm-hmm.
there's a core to it. I mean, when you're just becoming a parent, like, I'll be flat out, there was like, I don't want to give this up, I don't want to do this, but I have to do this, and this is if this happens, and then you know but then I'd say over the past 6 years, I understood I'm a fucking parent. Like, I have to be invested. I have to,
Mm-hmm.
you know, if not, it only fucks him up longer in the long run. Like,
Right.
so that's why what I do now is he is my top. Like, he is
Mm-hmm.
my top priority. Like, I've said it multiple times. In the past, he really wasn't. But in the past, I was younger and I had a different mindset. Now, ain't no fucking buddy gonna talk to him like that. Like, nobody
Mm-hmm.
would do anything like that. And I'm gonna watch what I say because I don't want something to ever happen to
Yeah.
him where he can't tell his mom, or he can't
Mm-hmm.
tell his dad, or he can't trust her, or he can't trust me and confide in us to say, like, in his way, somehow that person's wrong. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they're wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't do that. You know what I mean? Like, I
And
didn't do that.
being brutally honest, just because you're an adult does not mean that you're always right. Own up the fact that you fucked up, you're wrong, okay, and model for your children that when you were wrong, apologize to them.
Yes,
Apologize to other adults. Teach them that when you were wrong, you apologize.
right. Absolutely. Or if somebody, in a sense, would make up something,
Mm-hmm.
or say that your child has done this, or a kid that you're taking care of or whatever, and they did this while either you're away or something of that nature, or fuck, could be one of your own fucking relatives that watched them and then they made some shit up.
Right?
Yo, if it's unusual behavior that your kid has never fucking did, question that fucking
Fucking
person
shit out of it. Mm-hmm.
from now on. That's just what you do. And if you've had it happen and you're learning from it, you're not gonna let it fucking happen again. Like,
Exactly.
I know way too many people that have dealt with that, where it's like this person said or that person said, or like my aunt said this about about my kid and it was wrong or whatever. Yeah, and you don't trust the fucking aunt around the kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? But then it's like, we as adults, what do we have to gain from this?
Right?
I'll never understand that. What do we as adults have to gain by saying, oh, like, Sarah was out there stealing something from the store?
Right? Like,
But
what are you getting out of that? Like, are you happy to see children getting, punished
yeah,
and
like, do you
having
get off
consequences?
on it? Because
Right?
that's fucking creepy.
Like, I just don't get that.
Yeah. To me, that's almost like psychopath tendencies.
Yes.
Yeah. Or a sociopath.
Yes.
For
Like they
sure.
enjoy watching others getting hurt or
Yes,
in
ma'am.
trouble.
Absolutely. So all of a sudden it becomes like a thrill for them.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like a drug for them if they get off
Mm-hmm.
on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's great. Good for you, fucking Psycho Pete. But you're fucking the kid up. You
Right?
know what I mean? You're fucking that kid up to the point where you're fucking this all up with his relationships between X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're out of the picture or they're not with you or whatever anymore, and they're back with mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, whoever, rightful guardian, etc., they're they're gonna think, okay, well, if I do this, well, I can't tell them. They're not gonna believe me.
Right. And this is where I always laugh because you know how many times I hear like grown ass people being like, well, I wonder why my adult children don't talk to me anymore. Your grown ass children don't want nothing to do with you because you didn't treat them right when they were kids.
Right. And then it's scarring to them because how it was, or you believed a teacher, a boyfriend or a girlfriend,
Mm-hmm.
or someone who's not in the core of that person's lives. I can't say that too because I watch too many fucking shows. You've had that too, where it's like, hey, this is Uncle blah blah blah, and he ended up being a fucking child molester.
Mm-hmm.
But like your parents, confide in your parents,
Yeah.
and as the parents, like you should just analyze a lot. That's
Mm-hmm.
the only thing it's the only advice I can give is just analyze the fuck out of shit.
Yeah.
Like, sure, um, somebody might say like, oh, well, they did this and whatnot. And if they don't give you a straight answer, the child,
Mm-hmm.
okay, maybe dig a little deeper in it, but don't just snap right into it and be like, hey,
Yeah.
you fucking blah, 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 blah. No, 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 no. Because what if you're wrong?
Mm-hmm.
The thing. What if you're wrong, or whoever you date is wrong, or your parent is wrong, or if you're wrong, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's figure it all out. That's all I
It's
say.
a trial and error process with parenting. It really is. And that was something that I was like also that I always like explain to my clients too is like I'm not telling you how to parent. And neither are your friends when they give some suggestions. They're not sitting here telling you that you're a shitty parent. They're not sitting there telling you, oh, well, you need to do better. They're providing some suggestions to help ease that burden for you because they see that you're in distress. They see that you're struggling. So they want to help the best way that they can. Kind of have an open mind and maybe try some of the suggestions and see if it works or not. Because you're never going to know. You may shut down these people thinking that they're criticizing you because they provided you with a new parenting suggestion. All while next thing you know, things are progressively getting worse between you and your child, and you're like, well, I've given up. Just
Right. Or it's
trial and
already
error.
shut down. Or
Mm-hmm.
it's already shut down because of whatever happened back here.
Yep.
And it's going to be hard for people to get back on that track. I mean, I'm kind of witnessed it firsthand with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's tough, but you'll get there, hopefully, you know. And I
Mm-hmm.
think, you know, I think it's possible with the right guidance and whatnot that yeah, things can be worked out and you've learned lessons and you know how to approach things and go from there from now on. That that's fair, but you have to nip it in the ass quick,
Yep.
you know. So my thing, my advice to your friend would just be, I wouldn't have grounded her.
No.
No, grounding her didn't not trying to be rude. Grounding her didn't do dick. Like, you
Nope.
know what I mean? Like, what did that really do at the end of the day?
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's just gonna be like, well, fuck, all right, I ain't gotta go. I ain't gonna go back there and see that fucking bitch. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? I don't have to.
Yep.
And
But
the
now
only thing,
all she's gained out of that though is that she cannot trust her mother and she cannot trust other adults.
absolutely. As soon as mom shut that shit down, That
Mm-hmm.
was that was the bigger of the two.
Yep.
Like, all right, I know I'm not supposed to like stranger danger, don't trust like adults or whatever, and that's mom pretty much solidified it. But now I can't even trust my mom.
Nope.
I can't no, not even trust. I can't confide in my mother. Like I can't tell her something,
Exactly.
and that's a fucking shame. That is. Sam, why you always end it on a bad one?
I know, that's just how I am, because remember, I'm a cold-hearted
A
bitch.
cold-hearted bitch. It must have been the manicotti. That's what.
It must have. It must
God
have.
damn it,
Yep.
manicotti. The manicotti makes you go to the bathroom and fucking all of a sudden hate everybody. Oh my god. Um, no, but it's it's always good to like bring awareness to stuff and like that. I think that's what people are starting to love about the show now is they get your perspective on it because you're the professional. They get mine because like I'm not a dumbass. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Like I don't know. I have common knowledge.
Hmm.
You know, so at least to talk with somebody and to talk with somebody who's licensed in this or something of that nature to do it. Like, yeah, we have our fun episodes, but it's nice to get into something because I
Hmm.
know I have a little bit more female audience now because like we're pretty diverse. But then to get the feedback, it's like, well, no, I do this with my kid. Maybe I try this, and
Yeah.
yeah,
And I was going to say, there are parents out there who listen and they might be like, you know what? Okay, I was in a similar situation and you know what? I did do a different approach, but I felt guilty because I made that approach. So thank you. Thank you for talking about it.
right. Or we get this person like, fuck these motherfuckers. Like, why don't I just give them a fucking glass of wine and have them smoke a doobie? Shit, or just dump all my trauma out on fucking Leslie in the corner over here.
All right.
You big ass bitch. Is this start why is she just randomly talking shit? I don't know. That's what this devil guy over here said. I was listening to this little angel lady. I ain't fucking with that for her.
It's my id and ego, people.
Yeah, right? Oh my god. That'll do it for this week's episode. Me and Sam will be back next week.
Hmm.
Um, I talked to my friend Donnie. He's gonna come on the week after the bar crawl.
Nice.
So
Okay.
that'll be fun and exciting. So I might have like see if while we're out that day if I can like if a couple people want to pop on that we're through it and
Hmm.
just like reiterate it summit so like the people the audience know about it. But
Yeah.
yeah, that um and we'll have of course Rebecca's link on the episode. Uh, Xander's is like, even though I love you, Rebecca, Xander's is more important for right now because I got this deadline we're getting to, and then I was
Yeah.
like,
Look, not discrediting Rebecca because she's doing a kick-ass job, but
she is
okay, we're talking about Xander jumping into like freezing cold water. So,
right. Like we know Rebecca's gonna kill it at the fucking marathon.
right?
That's a fucking given. You know what I mean? She did the fucking one down in uh the Carolinas, so she's killing it.
Hmm.
So, I mean, we're gonna take it a little bit off Rebecca for just a couple weeks, and then we're gonna get right back into Rebecca again.
Right.
But like, yeah, shout out to Rebecca too, because you are killing it, Mama, and like we appreciate it. Like we'll have to have you back on here again so you can like tell us about what's going on, how you're feeling, what mood's going on, and just getting you ready close to the marathon. As always,
Hmm.
my lovely co-host Samantha. I am the Big Show, and we'll see y'all next week. Bye.
Bye.
Oh man, I did it again.